here we have, which one is this? This is Hawthorne Y. We've got 4 of them, so it's gotta keep track. There's the Y there. So Rob Peck had the great idea of having a Santa Claus parade, and he brought all these structures, all the zillion people, all those vehicles, and laid it out, painted the roadway on. He did a fantastic job. So, and then Tim brought in his very tall structure. It's great getting some vertical height on here. And then we have a panel to control the routes through the Y, and then like the other ones, one of the other ones, there's also a single track Fremo going off there. Here's the branch of Hawthorne Y. This is one of my old conventional modules called Edwards, based on my friend Edward. Here is Wycliffe. The cliff's on another one of our single Ys. Nice station here. A single Y, and that when you come in at that end, you can't go out. You can only go out one side or the other. Off of Wycliffe, we have one of our corners going this way into my other old module called Frederick's Fuels, with an interchange track on it, named after my wife's grandfather and uncle named Fred. And we have Apple Hill here, Paul Anderson's nice 2-footer. Coming off the top of Wycliffe is another one of our transition modules called Rock Cut. Again, takes us from 2-track conventional to single-track Fremo. Oops, sorry. Yeah, that's right. Confused me here, because now we have another transition. So the single track was only 6 inches long. And we come into Orleans Junction, 22.5 degree transition with a nice little aggregate vendor here. One of our 1x4 modules. They were cheaper to build, take up less space, and a cute little fountain here, redone by Colin Churcher a few years ago. He did a great job. Then another 22.5 degree, the mating 22.5 degree transition called Connaught, and it goes off there and has an industry. We come through, I think it's a 45 degree bridge called Longlac, single track Fremo, into my Albert's Abyss single track Fremo module, named after my father and my father-in-law, whose middle names were Albert. And then we end with Timber Grove, a nice little EOL end of line. Off the top of Hawthorne, we have another Duck Under Bridge, Rita River. Over here we have Mason Creek by Robert Alderdice. It's a really nice little facility here. We have the woodlot here, track for the station track, and then off to the right we have a nice little stockyard. So we have some stock cars here. Then there's a Fremo. This looks just an industry with a little coal tipple, but this track over here lines up to Fremo, so we can have a branch going out the back. Next is Algonquin Park by Brandon. He did a really nice job on this. So the nice thing about this is it helps to break up that straight main line with a nice curve. 12 feet long, conventional, and some nice scenes here. Some nice Airstream trailers. My parents would have loved this. They spent many years in their Airstream. And we have a little lake here. Usually we have some military vehicles parked here because the Army base called Petawawa is just at the back of Algonquin Park. Unfortunately, they're not here this time because the owner of them, Brandon, is in the military, and he's deployed to Latvia right now. We have JGRC Bridge, followed by Petawalla. Again, another one belonging to Brandon. One of our 1-foot modules called Spencer's Gap. And now here we are with Ottawa Yard with freight operations in the back and passenger operations in the front. I'm assuming it's probably Perry. Has one of these beautiful Bachmann Siemens passenger consists. Just beautiful, sounds amazing. And I have some of my Go Transit cars off the back, and Tim has this beautiful GG1 parked here with some passenger equipment along with it. Here's the freight operations in the back, and on the front here we have the passenger terminal, and the platform is a very accurate model of the platform at the Via Rail station in Ottawa. So the other end of the yard down here, we've got a small container terminal, and so when trains come out of here, they can come onto the main line and double cross over there to get to whatever track they need. Here we are at Bell's Corner. The name's loosely taken from a western suburb of Ottawa called Bell's Corners. This is not really based on, the module itself, the scenery, isn't based on the real Bell's Corners. Okay, here we have our mid-loop with Anderson Yard on the left and a bunch of other stuff on the right. Here we have York River, which is one of our conventional corners with a track that goes off. This big complex here, it's 16 feet long, it's called Castor River. Trains would come by, drop a cut of cars off here, and then the facility switcher would come out and would switch the various cars that were dropped off and then into the various industries that are on the site, and then leave a bunch of cars outbound for the next train that comes by, and the process starts all over again. Sorry, that really loud singing sound, that's the turbo train that just went by. That's part of the sound system on it. When the doors, it's got a recording of what the sounded like when the doors would open on the turbo train back then. And we have a sound-equipped reefer here. That's for wood chip car. And a small little container terminal on the back side here. Another corner with poles, and all the turnouts through the facility, or the area, are all turnout controlled, DCC controlled. There's a copy of the panel. This module is called Starbase. It is a very representative model of the SpaceX facility, I think in Tennessee maybe. Mark laser cut or maybe 3D printed this building, which is a fair representation of the facility that's there. The real one is not rail served, but in our little world, it is. This is Fallowfield, a really nicely done model of the Via station at Fallowfield, which is a western suburb of, or location in Ottawa, so that passengers, when they're coming from Toronto, they can get off here and save themselves the half hour into the main station downtown, and then the 45-minute drive back to this location. So it was a great idea at the time. And as well, our local bus operator called OC Transpo for Ottawa Carleton Transpo, the municipality we live in, the red and white buses, they also have a main station here too.